All right, let's jump right in. We've all been there, right? That first little scratch in your throat, the sniffles start, and you just know you're about to lose a whole week to a cold. But what if I told you getting sick wasn't just some random, unlucky thing? What if it's actually a message? Today, we're going to flip the script and look at how to turn those dreaded sick days into a really powerful strategic reset for your body and your mind.
Yeah, most of us think so, right? We blame the crazy weather, or that guy who sneezed on the train, or, just plain old bad luck. But is it really that simple? Well, we're going to challenge that whole idea and dig into what's actually going on when you catch a cold.
It's super easy to point the finger at one of the, over 200 different viruses that cause the common cold. But the real story, the one that really matters, that's happening deep inside you, long before you even feel that first little sniffle.
And this, right here, is the absolute heart of it. See, the virus is just the trigger. The real reason you get sick is that your body's defenses were already down, leaving the front door wide open. So it's not really about trying to dodge every single germ out there. It's about building an immune system that's so strong it's ready for anything.
So, the big question is, how do we figure out why we were vulnerable to begin with? Well, we need to take a little journey inward to find the root cause. And believe it or not, there's a surprisingly simple technique that can guide us.
Okay, let's start with this really key idea, your internal shield. I want you to think of it like your body's own personal security system. When that shield is up and it's strong, viruses, they just bounce right off. But when our lifestyle choices weaken it, well, the gates are left wide open for any intruder that comes along.
And this is where this amazing method called the 5 whys comes in. It is so revealing. Let's just walk through it together. So, question 1, why did I get sick? Simple. My internal shield was down. Okay, but step 2, why was my shield down? Well, I was totally exhausted. And step 3, why was I so tired? Because I just wasn't prioritizing rest. Okay, but step 4, why didn't I rest? I just felt like I had way too much to do. And right there, step 5, boom, we found it. The root cause isn't the virus. It's a lifestyle that's completely ignoring what the body is screaming for, rest.
Okay, so finding that root cause, that's a huge first step. But the next battle, the next big move, happens right up here, in your mind. Because how you actually think about being sick can literally change how you heal. Let's dig into how you can make your mind your absolute most powerful medicine. Have you ever tried to just rest when you're sick, but there's that nagging little voice in your head? The one that's telling you you're being lazy, you're unproductive? Well, there's a name for that. Some psychologists call it your internal achiever. It's that part of you that's obsessed with doing over just being. And man, it can totally sabotage your recovery.
So how do we fight back against that voice? Well, we can use a really powerful tool from something called cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT. The moment that guilty thought pops up, resting is so lazy, you have to consciously challenge it. You reframe it. You say, no, resting is a strategic investment in my health. It's not weakness, it's a smart strategy.
And here's another way to do it. We can actually change the entire story we tell ourselves using a technique from neuro-linguistic programming, or NLP. So instead of identifying with the illness, saying, I am sick, you reframe it. You say, my body is successfully fighting to protect me. It seems like a small change in words, right? But it's a massive shift from being a passive victim to being an active partner in your own healing.
And this goes for all the symptoms. I mean, think about a fever. We always think of it as a bad thing. But a fever isn't just you being sick. It's your body's incredible security system cranking up the heat to literally burn out the intruders. Your body is on your side, actively and powerfully protecting you.
Okay, so we've done the work to reset our mindset. That's huge. Now, let's talk about the physical strategy. We're going to build a super simple, super effective recovery plan using a principle you probably already know. It's the 80-20 rule, and it applies perfectly to getting better. The idea is simple. 80% of your results come from just 20% of your efforts. So when it comes to recovery, you don't need to do 100 different things. You just have to focus on the handful of things that give you the biggest bang for your buck. So what are those high-priority actions? What makes up that critical 20%? You might be surprised at how simple this is. It's 2 things: deep, restorative sleep and relentless hydration. That's it. Seriously, those 2 things are the absolute foundation. They give your body the resources it needs to do its job and get you that 80% recovery.
Okay, now for a really cool little thought experiment. It's called the reverse technique.
Instead of asking, how do I get better fast, I want you to ask yourself this: what would I have to do if I wanted to stay sick for an entire month?
The answer is pretty obvious, right? You'd work late, stay super stressed, eat nothing but junk food, and definitely don't drink any water. By thinking up this failure plan, you instantly create a perfect, crystal clear list of exactly what you need to stop doing, like right now. All right, let's bring all these pieces together. We've dug down to find the root cause, we've reframed our entire mindset, and we've focused our physical strategy. When you do all that, you create a completely new perspective on what it even means to get sick.
And this is really the ultimate takeaway, the big idea here. A cold isn't your enemy. It's not some random setback. It is a biological feedback system. It's your body sending you a non-negotiable alert that says, hey, it's time to stop, listen, and hit the reset button. So the next time you feel that little tickle in your throat, don't just think, oh no, bad luck. See it for what it is, an opportunity. So the real question isn't if you'll need a reset, it's what is your next strategic reset going to look like?